Hey guys, on this edition of Fit Rockstar Show, we have the beautiful, sensational, she is the three-time IFBB Pro Champ of Norfolk, Chicago, and Indy, top Olympian, she's so beautiful, Theresa Ivancik.
Hi.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you so much for having me, hon.
Absolutely. So you have been doing some pretty damn cool things. You're like everywhere. You're such an entrepreneur. I saw recently you are now working with Andrew Vu, who is, he has a phenomenal track record, obviously.
Absolutely.
How did you guys hook up? How are you feeling about that?
I hooked up with him because I interviewed, I was playing your part, I was scared to death to interview the athletes after a show at the NPC Premier Muscle. And I got the opportunity to meet Jessica Reyes, and her and I kind of talked a little bit, and we had talked about current coaching and issues I was having. And she's like, listen, she's like, if you ever want a good coach, Andrew's the guy to go to, blah, 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 blah. So actually at the Olympia, I was training at Iris's gym and she was there, and I didn't really recognize her because, we're all dolled up for stage. And then she's in the gym just training for the show. And she came up to me. She's like, I don't know if you remember me. She's like, but I interviewed you, or I was interviewed by you, at the show. And she's like, if you're still interested, Andrew's here. Like, he'll talk to you or whatever. So it kind of like, we kind of went through, because I was struggling. This was a very hard prep for the Olympia, just bad coaching and just stuff like that. But so I kind of kept that in my back of my brain. And after the show was over, I actually reached out to him. I did not talk to him at the Olympia. One, I don't want to do that. He's got athletes competing. He's got things that he needs to take care of. I'm a business person, so I understand that. And I actually messaged him right after the Olympia, and I said, hey, I'd really be interested in working with you. And Jessica Reyes kind of mentioned me, and you would be good together. And I'll tell you what, he is like a very stern coach. He's not here to be like your friend. He is your friend, but he's there for business. So he really makes sure that, like, when you go to check in, like, your stuff is spot on. If you're not doing what, you're supposed to do, he'll pull you from shows and things like that. So he wants the best for you, for the all athletes. So, I mean, I've had a really great experience. He's all about conditioning this year. So I want to bring the absolute just shredded version of me, full muscle bellies to the stage. And I think that we'll be able to do that together.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at his track record, again, Jessica Padilla Reyes, Natalia Calejo. I know he trains a few other guys, but just those two alone, I mean, wow, he really does know his stuff. Now, I know we probably don't need to talk about the Olympia, but obviously, look, it's very prestigious being on that stage, and you came in, you're seventh in the world, right?
Absolutely.
Which is that's pretty darn good to be seventh in the world. So
the first year is, as we all know, like, as an amateur, it's really weird, like, as an amateur to the Olympia, because we got to, like, look at that as a whole. So the first year, I mean, it's very hard to actually come in placing in the top ranks, so I was 14th, I think, in my very first Olympia in 2020. So I went from 14th to 7th. So to me, that's just making those steps, being realistic about your goals. And I was extremely happy with that.
Well, again, when you're always on stage, you always look beautiful. And the one show I'm going to talk about here for a second, Norfolk. I was there in Norfolk with you, and the suit you had on, you're always polished. No matter what, you're always polished. What I remember this moment, because that's when your fiance, he proposed to you, which was, you don't really see that very often.
No.
And do you still think about that moment in your head from time to time, about that when you won, and then here comes Jeff, kind of looked like he was nervous with the ring? And
oh yeah. It was hard because he was trying to decide whether to do it on stage or not, because that was like my first pro win. So it was if she wins, she's going to be in a happy mood. If she doesn't win, she's not going to be in a happy mood. So it ended up working out, but he was very, very nervous about it. Going through TSA, he was sweating bullets that I was going to see it, and they were going to pull it from his bag. Yeah, because he had it, they pull all that stuff out.
Yeah.
He was just worried about it, but he was acting weird, and he did talk to Linda, and they agreed to doing it on stage. So he knew 2 seconds before I went out for the night show, because he was backstage with me. I paid to have him back there. And he knew that I was going to win. as I was walking out. So he was like, "See ya, good luck," but he already knew.
Right.
So it was a fun time.
Well, I mean, listen, the prejudging, we all knew that it was your show to win, hands down.
Thank you.
For
Thank you. That
sure.
was probably one of the condition I've been. Not the biggest, but the condition for a pro
It's
show.
not always about size, though, right? I mean, it's the total package,
correct.
Everything you bring, as you know, because you are a posing coach and you train people as well. Which, by the way, I saw you're no longer taking any clients. Is this true?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I want to do 1 year, just all of me.
As you
I want to
should,
put
yeah.
all my effort in,
Yeah.
and I mean, I do take the people that I currently have, but I'm not overwhelming myself this year. I'm just kind of going to coast this. This has been an eat, sleep, train. I've been up the same time every day, training the same time every day, and that's how I want it. So I said I want a 1 year to myself, all out, and see what I'm actually truly capable of, because I've never been able to do that.
Well, I'm looking at you right now, and you look very lean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how long have you been with?
He's all about getting. We've been 7 weeks with
Okay.
Andrew, and he's all about getting there first, and then we coast in.
Yeah.
So it's pedal to the metal. Let's get all the body fat off, and then we cruise in. So we start to scale back on the cardio, and then we'll put more food back in as we get closer.
Now you work with a few coaches, and out of all of them, I mean, for what you're seeing right now, obviously you're very happy with the results. I'm assuming because you look full, you look big, but yet I can see the conditioning coming out. And this is through a video. I can't even imagine what you look like in person. Because we know it's different.
Yep.
So with that,
and like whenever you're not training, you're like flat, and then when
Right.
you train, you like pump up.
you don't look flat to me right here. You got those
No.
big shoulders, the
Thanks.
veins popping. You can see the striations in the shoulders and the definition of the
Thank you.
arms. So obviously you're going to keep a show under wraps, I'm assuming, right? You can't really put it out there.
I did. I kind of leaked it out. We were really focusing on Toronto Pro. I'm one of those people that I've done a couple shows twice, but I don't want to. I want to venture off. I want to try, a little bit of everything, different, places, different people, different promoters. So this year we were aiming for the Toronto Pro. So, that's what our goal is.
I would have loved to have seen you in the Vancouver Island showdown.
I was trying for that, and I was just behind.
Yeah,
in my head,
it.
how like the Olympia, you just came out. I literally only had like 3 weeks to play because I
Right.
was doing photo shoots and I tried to stay clean. And then I jumped right on with him, and it was just like I could not get that motor going. And it was like, you just jumped out of one, and then to be that goal oriented right away, I was like struggling to start the diet, to start the plan and everything. So now I'm good, but I did want to do that that was in the talks.
Yeah, I mean it's a great show, but and I get it. You got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. Health
Absolutely.
wise, and mentally, and all that kind of good stuff. So, when is the Toronto Pro? When is that?
That's June 4th. So we're
my gosh,
cruising
you
in
got-
like this weekend. This Sunday will be about 10 weeks.
Oh my God, you got
Yeah.
plenty of time. There's a lot
Yep,
of time.
yep.
Yeah, you're gonna
Tons of
kick ass
time.
in that. Sure.
Yep. I'm excited about it.
Go USA.
Yep.
So let me ask something about these gurus and coaches. In your opinion, what do you think of these guys who just put out some copy and paste diet to these clients? You deal with all kinds of clients. I'm sure you have people come to you like, "Help me, Theresa. I've had a bad coach." What do you think of that? How do you think we can educate these athletes on finding a good coach?
It's hard. And I mean, doing things like this, doing podcasts, people putting their own videos up on YouTube, explaining the whole coaching thing. It's like we need to put out the warning signs of things to be, aware of, like whenever you're going to search for a new coach. The one thing that is my biggest pet peeve at the moment right now is everybody that's winning their very first show all of a sudden becomes a coach. And it's driving me absolutely insane because they think that they're somebody because they won a show. Then all of a sudden they're nationally qualified, and then all of a sudden you're actually qualified to train people, so that's really irritating me. The people that are doing the cookie cutter, they're taking people's money. They're not focused on their health. The thing is, it's like as a coach, you're putting their lives in your hands. So you want what's best for them, and you've got to pay attention to every signal that they give. There is no too much TMI whenever you're coaching.
Right.
And if your coach is like blowing you off when you're asking certain questions, then I don't care what you paid them so far. You got to walk away because they're not in your best interest. I've had people call me up about old previous coaches, and I'm not here to knock anybody down. I'm just saying what's best for me, and I felt held back. So this is a sport where you need to have that good, strong communication, and you guys have to be on the same page. If you're not, that's not the coach for you at all.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100%. I was just talking to Andrea Shaw, Mela, and Sheena the other day, and this is exactly the same thing they said. You know, just like you, everybody thinks once they win a show, they're an instant coach. But moving on to you. Tell me about these other projects you're doing. I know you're working on some things. You've got some businesses going on. I'm seeing a lot with your gym and stuff like that. I saw you launched a new clothing line as well, or something, eventually, right?
Yeah, I've had one for a while. I just haven't been able to actually put it out there. It's been my TI line. It's again, if there's like I'm everywhere. I'm
Right.
like spiderweb so bad right now. I need to consolidate and figure out what's most important. I do want to put that out there. The gym renovations have been kind of pushed on the back burner at the moment. It's finding a location, and then it's just too much. You know, I can't purchase, you know, all the stuff that needs to be done when you're trying to prep for a show. We do have, you know, current areas that we're looking at, but if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm not worried about it right now. But we still are expanding. It's just where and when we're going to do it. The t-shirt shop is still kicking. It's doing great. Like, they're doing a lot of different businesses. So that's been wonderful. Like we talked about with my coaching's been down because I have who I have. I just don't want to add anybody else right now until I get through this year. I do want to go. I am doing more posing. I'm doing some posing coaching, you know, too. And I do want to do lifestyle. I feel like lifestyle has been a better and more important to me because of just all the different health conditions that people have, you know, and they're lost. You know, I have one girl, which she had, I think it's Crohn's. It was on a whole different level, and she was like 170 some pounds, and right now she's 133.
Yeah.
There's been no digestive issues. She's like completely changed her life, and it's just, to me, that's just amazing.
Well, that's
and yes,
huge.
she does want to do a show.
Yeah.
You know, she does want to compete, but it's just like, it's talking to them and be realistic with goals and kind of walk herself in. You know, but I want to get into that lifestyle, you know, coaching. I think there's a lot of people out there that could need help but don't want to go that far.
Can you
into prep.
explain for our audience lifestyle coaching for those that don't know?
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
It's just being healthy with you, not like doing necessarily any type of sport. You know, having someone that's going to address the certain conditions that you have, your schedule, you know, to getting into the gym. If you're going to tell somebody, which most people will, but if you're going to start with me, you have to go to the gym 5 days a week. That's absolutely not true, because I have people that come 3 times a week. You have to make it realistic. Something's better than nothing. And then if they find out they have extra time, they can jump in and do it. But you got to work with people's schedule. You know, competitive bodybuilding is a full-blown lifestyle. It's every day, in and out. You know, it's Groundhog Day. You know, and that's how you're going to see the results. So there's a fine line between like how far you want to go. But again, like, you know, you may start as a lifestyle type person and say, hey, I want to get healthy. I got to get my numbers down. My blood work's off. And then you say, hey, you know what? I reached this one. I want to compete. And, you know, 9 out of 10 times that usually happens. Mm-hmm. But it's just, it's helping everybody, not just in the bodybuilding world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for what you're doing and changing people's lives. You know, I see a lot of people giving you praises and all this stuff, and you got a lot of clients, you know, and again, everybody, you have a huge following. People love you. You know, you're always spreading positive vibes to everybody. Let me ask you, with the Olympia, let's just say, what is your goals in bodybuilding? What do you want to do? What do you want to promote?
So, as you know, I'm 17 years in this crazy journey and ride of a roller coaster, and this will be my 30th show, you know, competing. Wow. I have reached everything that I seriously have ever wanted to do. I made it to the Olympia, you know, and that's one thing that, you know, most people can't ever say, that they can touch stage, you know, with their feet on that stage. Sure. My goal is, I'd really want to place top 3. I just want to be up where I want to see myself, like, because that's where the pictures are, that's where the notoriety is, and that's just another like step on that ladder. To win is another, big huge thing. So in realistic, this year would be top three, to make it up to that limelight. Andrea's, she's phenomenal. Is she going to be beatable? Only time will tell. Is it going to be her day every time it's the Olympia? So, but you still have to train. She's the only one that I ever have my eyes on. If I'm going to compete at any show, I don't even look who's coming. I'm just after her. I look at her body shape and I'm after her, because that's at the end of the day, that's the girl you got to beat. So if you can come in, bring in a body and a physique that it can be matchable to her, then that's what I needed to focus on. But it would be top three to get up to that first place.
Oh, that's a good deal. So right now with Vu, what is your goal? Like, for me, I think you have a beautiful physique, but your back shots are like very powerful. You've got a really good back detail and all that kind of things. But what do you guys work? If I may ask, what's the focus here for your next show coming up?
The main focus is I'm pretty much tapped out everywhere else in the upper body. Chest, shoulders, tries, back, whatnot. It's the lower half that needs to come in tighter and stronger, and more domination in the hamstring area. So that's pretty much where we're really focusing on. And I'll tell you what, this is the first year doing the exercises that I'm doing that he put me on. I actually feel them. I actually feel the movements. I actually feel the squeezes. It's a connection I've never had before. And then you're like, darn it, I wish I would have done this like years ago. Sure. But it's the fact that you know how bad you want it, so you put more into it. But that is the absolute main focus, is to get that lower half to have strong conditioning this year.
Well, girl, you got it going on, that's for sure. I mean, like I said, you're definitely bringing it. You've got that mindset of yours has always been tough. Now, I saw something a little bit ago with Dr. Oz. And I'm like, what? She got to meet Dr. Oz? So you got to tell me this whole experience, please, because I'm a fan.
Okay. So I had a woman, and she was over 300 pounds. And she came to the gym and she was crying, basically. She didn't come into the gym. She had called because she was terrified to come into the gym, that she had called around and no other trainers would help her. So she had diabetes. She was on insulin, thyroid issues, the whole shebang. So she comes in, we start working with her, whatever, and she's down weight. She's off insulin. She's no longer diabetic. So we reversed type 2 diabetes and reversed her thyroid. Within all of this, caught the attention of Dr. Oz, and it was submitted, all of her information. And she had to actually send in videos and pictures of her proving that she didn't have gastric done, or else they were not going to take her onto the show, because this was literally done all through diet and exercise, which they could not believe was true. So they gave her certain goals to hit, certain numbers she needed to hit, and especially in the abdominal area, because they were going to pay for her surgery to get all that excess skin off for her. So as we were in the works of all this, the Dr. Oz show kind of took a plunge, and they kind of stopped taping. He got into, running in the office and things like that. So he actually came to Butler, and we made sure that we brought her and the rest of the crew that was helping her over to the event. And we introduced ourselves to him. And he says, when you're done, I want you to stay here, because we're going to do a video. We're going to do an interview, because he remembered who she was, but he was unable to do anything further, with that. But it was just what he does, and how his crew was working with her was just an amazing time to actually meet him, because I never thought it was ever going to happen, and to see Melissa with Dr. Oz was even more, uplifting, because it happened that way, but she's still working on it, and she's still going to have the surgery and stuff done. It's just not going to be paid by them.
There's something I've always wanted to ask you. Have you and your husband ever thought about doing like a reality TV show, you guys? Because you do have an interesting life. I mean, he's got all these hot rods. Does he still have that badass car of his? What does he have? What is it that? What is it?
He has I think it's a 91 Mustang, and it's all souped up. And then his dad's Corvette Stingray that we have, and then the bike. So we have all three of those sitting in the garage right now.
And you ride too, right? Or no?
I just ride the back.
Oh, you just ride the back. Well, you're smart. Yeah, you're smart.
Yes. I want to get a bike, but I haven't got a chance to do that just yet. But I'm just a pretty backseat rider.
Pretty right backseat rider. But no, seriously, have you ever thought about doing a reality type show or something with you guys, with all your clients, or just your whole journey? Have you
Yeah,
thought
I
about
really
that?
want to. I really
Mm-hmm.
do want to. Right now, I am writing a book, and I'm like 50 pages in.
Yeah.
It's bringing back bad memories, and rough times and things like that. But my goal is to get it out there, and then eventually have it pushed to the big screen. It is a wild, wild ride, and I want people to know that, because I think I can touch pretty much any part of life within anybody, not just bodybuilding. Right now, we currently are filming a documentary.
Oh, good.
It's been in the works since 2018
Mm-hmm.
is when we originally started it. They came to the gym in, I think it was 2021 or something like that. We started doing the video footage and the posing and the routine part, and then they finished more filming at this past Olympia. It has taken waves, so it was with Sony Production, now it's with Maxine Production. So they were shopping networks for HBO
Wow.
Max,
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that to get it to. So this year we're still filming to finish, and it's mostly about the femininity of bodybuilding and the prettiness of the sport,
Mm-hmm.
and getting more people involved and understanding it more. We're not just like girls in bikinis all tanned up on stage. What comes up behind it, the running a business, the issues with boyfriends and girlfriends and things like that. So they've been working hard at it. They really have.
It's interesting you bring up femininity. It's something that is a big topic that I like to talk
Hmm.
about. So I'll ask you the same question I asked the girls. What is your
Hmm.
definition of femininity? What is it to you?
It's keeping the beauty to female bodybuilding. It's not
But
taking it too
what
far.
is the beauty to you? What is the beauty? What is
It's
that?
the appearance, keeping the beauty in the face,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
good presentation, just not looking so rough. It's just like you can have
Rough.
really like soft skin, you don't have to be all dried out and grainy, to be able to make the muscles pop. When you flex, like it'll be there, so you don't have to make yourself look like that 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
So it's having that soft, nice conditioned skin. But when you're ready to flex and pose, you have a package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That is actually a look that I want to have. I'm hoping that eventually in the future that we can have a
Hmm.
look for women bodybuilding where it's not as hard and grainy,
Hmm.
but softer. More like,
Hmm.
well, like someone like yourself, which I
Hmm.
can use you as a great example. When you walk out on stage, as you know, all eyes are on you. Now, let's be
Hmm.
real, Teresa. How many times have you had all kinds of people coming up to you after prejudging or at the show saying, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful"? How many?
Hmm.
How
A
many?
lot,
A
a
lot.
lot. And honestly, when I won Indy, it went off. It went ballistic. And it's just like the DMs, the comments on all the videos and the things like that. It makes me feel good inside, because from day one, back in 2006 and 7, when I originally started this was my goal, was to keep the femininity in the
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding for
Mm-hmm.
myself,
Mm-hmm.
and to have the comments still pouring in, 17 years later, proving that it can be done, just is heartwarming, and I just that's me. It's me, and like that's why I picked that song last year. This is me, so like it or not, but this is what I'm going to constantly bring my best version, to stage and showcase what I'm all about,
Do you think that people don't like the femininity? I mean, is there people who complain about it? You think?
There's your ups and your downs,
Yeah.
between like the judging and like what they are looking for, what they're not looking for, and what certain people like, and you have that fan, base for certain things, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like it's divided down the middle,
Mm-hmm.
there's not one that overweighs the other,
Can
and everybody's got a different look,
Yeah,
you know.
they do. Can you say throughout your 17 years that where we're at now in women's bodybuilding, the women actually are looking, they're very feminine?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. It's made a huge, huge, huge turn, and back I think it was in 2018, no, 2016 when I won my pro card. Um, 2017 is when I hooked in with Wings of Strength and we started that Muscle Mansion,
I remember
and
that.
that's
Yeah,
when it really took off, and we
yeah.
were really trying to get women's bodybuilding back,
Mm-hmm.
and that, to me, being in the house, I couldn't say. I mean, we were all beautiful,
Right.
and it was really, it really plunged, and it opened up a whole different world to what female bodybuilding really is. It truly did.
What is your biggest pet peeves in this sport? Like, if it could be anything. Maybe something you see in a female, another competitor. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. Like for me, I'm about if a girl's on stage and I see that she's not polished enough, which you know she can give a little, people can give effort, right? That's one of my big pet peeves. Like, look, you could have taken a little bit of time, brushed that hair a little bit or something.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Put on a little bit of lipstick. So what's your pet peeves in general?
I think it's just like after, like, let's just say we all do a show and it's like after the show, and you know, realistically looking at people, like where they're going to place and where they're not going to
Sure.
place. And it's going back on social media and seeing them just like dagger everybody because they thought that they should have won. You know,
I got
you
robbed.
realistically,
Right.
yes. And I don't know, because it's like, what do you see? You know, and I get frustrated about that because this isn't about a bashing thing. You know, it's just, you know, you do you bring what you have, and then you're judged against who is at that show, you know, and how you compare. So that would probably be my biggest pet peeve, is saying, oh, I should have done this, or yeah, I got robbed, and yada yada yada. You know, that would be mostly it.
How about when they post of pictures, they try to find these pictures, you know, of them in certain shots, but post the worst
Yes.
pictures of the other competitors next
Correct.
to them in comparison. We see this all the time. I'm like, they're not even hitting their pose yet, and you got the little picture of their eyes are closed, and it's, give me a break. We know
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know what's up. One thing that I gotta say, I've not really touched base on with you in the past, Narcom, I want to know all your accolades. Like, you've done a lot of modeling too, because you're always taking these glamour pictures. I mean, you're on it. So what else have you done outside of the bodybuilding? Because you're always promoting yourself in different ways. I know you're on the news a while back too, and
Yeah, I did that at Indy. Dave took us to the news. It was me and I can't even remember the guy's name, but yeah, we went in to advertise, you know, the show. I originally started modeling back in 2005 or 2006. It was for an Iron City magazine, like for a calendar, and I was nervous, and the pictures showed, and like every blooper that you could possibly do is like wearing those hair bands on your wrist, like I did, you know. But that started it, you know. And then I started just meeting this photographer every weekend, and then building my portfolio,
that's smart.
you know, like more and more and more, you know. And then that's when like Body Space, Model Mayhem, like all that, I was just pushing and pushing and pushing. And again, back then it was like I wasn't skinny enough, you know, because I was lifting, but fitness and modeling really didn't go together, you know, in terms of what I was trying to market. So, but I still kept doing it anyway, you know. But I work with just a lot of different photographers for different things. I was in a Mike's Hard Lemonade commercial
I didn't know
a couple
that.
years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. It just, whatever I could do, I like to do. Wherever I can go, I like to go. Amazon magazines, you know, like I was on there. I'm writing for him now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Real magazine, I was on the front cover of that. I've just Custom Trends, I was on the front cover of that. And just getting to meet and network with all these different types of people, it's amazing, because you know as well as I know, like I thought magazines were just going to be gone.
Oh, yeah.
I was never going to get that opportunity. That was the first thing back in 2007. I wanted to be in a magazine. I wanted to be on the front cover. And then as like social media took about, I was like, oh, this dream's gone. Like it's never going to happen.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987, and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
And all of a sudden I made a post about it, and then boom, here they go. And it's like every time you turn around, they're like, hey, do you want to, you know, do this magazine, or do you want to do that magazine? Do you want to do this interview? And I was like, hey, that's great. Yeah, let's get it out there, you know?
Can you tell Jeff to get some photo shoots of you on the bike, and we can see you like in front of Easy Rider magazine or something like that?
Oh yeah,
you know?
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
And I know you have a huge presence on social media. You're always on it. You're always doing your thing. What advice would you give to people who are up and coming and want to build their audience? Like, what would your advice be for the social media stuff? Because I know that's huge.
Yeah, honestly, the main thing that I have always done is be me. Be me. I'm not faking nothing. I'm not advertising nothing. We all have good and bad days. Yes, we post most of the stuff, but I'm just a real person. I don't try to be someone that I'm not. I don't, you know, throw digs at certain people. It's just be organic. Like just show your life out there and let people come to you. I have had followers since MySpace, and this is going
MySpace.
way back, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but they've followed me since then. And I was just being me. I posted YouTube videos back in 2000, probably 3 or 4, just playing around on my little phone that I had. And I have went into the 130,000, got the silver plaque for YouTube. But it
Oh,
all
wow.
started just by putting little bits and pieces out at a time, and then it just drew an audience in.
Wow.
But it's using hashtags, being motivational that people can, want to come to you. You don't want to turn people off,
Right.
So if you start being negative about a lot of things, people already have problems on their own, so you just want to help as much people as you can through your posts, and be a positive person. That's how I do it. I just be myself.
So the important thing is to be authentic, be real.
Yes.
And
Yep.
you think it's
That's
also
it.
important to show a little bit of your personal life, or no?
I do, because I think that's why people, they end up following more, because it's not just a bodybuilding clip, or my food. I'm on the bike. I'm taking the dog out. I'm in the Jeep. We're real people. We do live outside the gym. So showing things that you do, or jumping out of planes and things like that, that's reality.
Right.
That's the truth. And you want people to see that you are just somebody else outside the gym.
Right. All right. I got to ask you a question since you are a Jeep person. I have a Jeep myself, but there's something I can't understand. I've been seeing people with Jeeps with ducks on the dash,
Oh.
like tons of ducks.
Yeah.
Can you please explain the duck thing to me? I don't get it.
So it's like a little prank in a way.
Oh, okay.
So it's like if you're basically getting ducked, then you have to go duck somebody else.
Oh,
So that's because we took it down to the Jeep Fest that was in Butler, because Jeeps originated from here.
Oh, I
And
didn't know
we were actually, that was one of the buildings we're looking at, because we might try to salvage that,
Yeah.
and keep it alive, because right in the area where we're looking right now is where the Jeeps originally built. But yeah, it's once you get ducked, you got to go duck someone else. And usually you'll put it on their dash, and then they just go and put it on somebody else.
Well, I saw this really buff guy, like macho guy, right? And he's got this Jeep, and he had a thing of ducks all across his.
Some keep them.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, guy, rock on with your bad self.
Yep.
I get it.
Yep.
Okay.
I still have one sitting in there because I don't know who to duck.
You have a duck too?
Mine's tie-dyed. Mine's tie-dyed. Yeah.
Tie-dyed. Oh, I got a Jeep. I don't have any ducks. I guess I need to get some ducks.
I'll give you a duck.
Do you go mudding and stuff in your Jeep?
No, I don't. I lease it.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
you can't,
actually,
yeah.
I have my dream Jeep now. Like, I've always wanted a Rubicon.
Yeah, those are badass.
I didn't have it. I did have a Jeep last lease, but it wasn't what I wanted. It was, I just had to work myself up to it. But now I finally have something that I've always dreamed of having. But I actually had to make it myself.
Oh, really?
Because of the shortage of the cars. There was none.
Yeah.
So I actually got to build this one, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. What do you think of the Jeep trucks?
They're different. I don't know if I could drive
It's kind of boxy, right? A little
but
bit.
yeah.
Just weird.
Yeah. It's not the same. It's definitely
Yeah.
not the same.
Now, does your husband or fiance? Sorry, Jeff. Does he compete still or no? Is he done?
No, he's
used
been
to.
done, but he'll do local shows here and there.
Yeah.
He just had back surgery done.
Oh, sorry.
So he's been like rehabbing himself with that. But he has no colon. He had a heart attack in 2010. He has, the back surgery now. So he maintains a healthy lifestyle and then trains others as well. And runs the gym with me. But health issue wise, there's been a lot.
Jeff is a badass though, man. And boy, is he protective of you.
Yep.
Man,
he's my bodyguard.
Oh yeah, he's your little bodyguard. So let's fast forward to the Olympia, right? Say we're there, and so I like what you said earlier about you don't care about anybody else but Andrea. Like that's your target. Why are you not concerned about anybody else? Like somebody
Because
like
she has, she has the look that they want. So why would you try to even match yourself with anybody else?
Well, I guess you're not
so-
matching anybody else, but you're thinking, okay, like say like Angela Yo or like Amela Ash. Everybody's different, like you said.
Oh yeah.
But your
yeah.
focus is just her. That's it.
Yep. She's in that limelight, and that she's got the perfect body, for female bodybuilding. So why not look up to someone that's got it all, and really start to focus and dictate what she has. Now, yes, there was a big difference between Angie and her. with that really extreme tight conditioning versus the full muscle bellies and things like that. So it's finding a mix to fit in the middle, so you just kind of like just look at the ones that are making it, because that's obviously the ones that they're looking at, the ones that they're getting rewarded, the ones that are getting the higher placings. So that's where I'm just dead focused on just the top, the top people.
The interesting thing with you is you actually have a great set of judging eyes. So you know what the judges are looking for and what they what they want, which is good. And again, with you, I think you have such a beautiful, polished physique. Of course, the legs could be a little bit bigger, but overall, I mean, you're just you bring that great conditioning. You've got everything. Again, the back shot, that for me is like, I know when you turn around, front's beautiful, but when you turn around, that detail is just insane. But, again, at the Olympia, I just had to bring that up because a lot of these girls are worried about somebody. They're, well, they always, we see it all the time. They're looking at the pictures and comparing themselves. And I feel like peak week is when you can really make or break you mentally. Do you feel that in the sport in general that there's a lot of mental illness issues, not mental illness, but people are just not strong mentally? Do you feel that?
I do. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it happens whether you're an amateur or a pro. It's keeping yourself off of social media and looking at the girls that, who you're going to go against whenever you get to that stage that day. Because as you could be watching somebody and they could look completely peeled and you're doubting yourself 120%. And then they completely screw up peak week. And then last 2 days before they have to walk on stage and it's over. And you were worried about somebody that can't dial in for the show. But there's a lot of people that, you just need to stay in your own lane and focus on what you can bring, and you got to look at it as like a racetrack. Some people are 10 laps in, depending on where they are, in the industry, how many pro shows they've done, how many stages they've been on, how many peaks that they've made, so you have to just literally focus on yourself and that's it. And be happy with where you came from, because you got to look at the starting point for everybody. Like if we asked our younger selves, like, do you actually think that you would be where you were today? Like, I'd be like, hell no. I would have never, ever thought, looking back at what I had to work with in the very beginning, would I ever make it this far? But it's keeping yourself level-headed and staying in your own lane, and every time come back being better. Like I've always been able to fix something or come back with a different, sharper look or a little bit bigger, but it's just in perfecting yourself, so we really got to just hash out like the distractions, of other people, that ends up sucking a lot of energy away from ourselves and takes away from our own preps because we worry about somebody else.
Hey, you know what? You just hit that nail on the head, the distractions. Because that's what it is, right? I think there's a lot of negativity out there. I mean, there's some people who try to start rivalries and all that kind of things, beef with people. And, it's not necessary. Just stay in your own lane, do your thing, just come out at a show, be your best, and that's it. At the end of the day, we're all in it for the same thing. But look, we all love the same thing, too. We all love competing. We like the sport. And that's that. Theresa, you're a very big role model for women's bodybuilding. You really are. I mean, a lot of people always mention you, Andrea Shaw, and some others who are the face of what women's bodybuilding should be. In saying that, what do you feel that we can do to encourage the younger generation to get involved in women's bodybuilding?
I think it's like realistically, like just planting a seed first. And then slowly work at it, year after year, and perfect yourself going into the sport, and not being afraid to reach out to other people, other pros, ask people questions in the gym. If you see them and they are competitors, don't be afraid to talk to people. I think people are afraid that either like if they're who they are, they're never going to give you the time of day. If they're busy, then wait till their workout's over. Don't interrupt their workout, but just educate yourselves, and talk to the ones that have made it, far, and have had the experience, that can actually give you the tools that you need to progress further into the sport as well. And then you'll be standing exactly where we are.
What merchandise do you have now? I see you're sponsored by Michael Johansson Gasp, right?
Yep, they're
Very
one
cool.
of them.
I love Michael. He does a lot of great things for the sport. You know, he really
does.
does. Who are your other sponsors? You
Oh,
got a lot
man.
of people.
Yeah, Mega Fit Meals, fully sponsored this year. Gaspari Nutrition,
Oh wow.
Wolfpack, Angel Bikinis, Liquid Sun Rays, OCD Cookie, Old School Bodybuilding. I just worked in with that Prois. Just there's so many of them. Gas, Better Bodies.
Damn, girl, you're on it. You're
Yeah.
set. And let me
Yes.
tell you, for women, for female bodybuilders, you don't really see a lot of them being sponsored
No.
at all.
No.
You
It's
know.
it really did change. Like within the last couple of years, you see more girls, being picked up, with it. But again, it's how you present yourself, and it's because a company's got to attach their name to you, and are you going to be a good representative to them? Are you going to do what they ask you to do? Because a lot of people will just take what they do and then they don't put their part back in. So you do have to make the posts, you do have to do the social media, and just be a good representative, and things will come to you,
If you was to have anyone narrate your story, like an audiobook or whatever, or just tell your story, who would you pick?
Like to narrate it?
Yeah, like someone who's going to tell your story. They're going to say like a Morgan Freeman or whatever. It's going to tell your story. Who would you pick?
I would have no idea.
Nico
I
says
actually would have no idea for that.
he wants to tell
Nico can do it.
in his little Asian voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ninja.
The ninja. Theresa, I know that you got a prepping and all that kind of stuff. I thank you very much for being on my show, but I want to leave this with you. And if you want to tell our audience anything inspirational or any words, please put it out there. But it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's just in the sport or anything in life, just be you. We only got one chance at this. So I always say, there's one life, so live it to the fullest. You don't want to live with regrets or, if I shoulda, coulda, woulda, so it's one of those things like just do what you want, do what your heart wants. It doesn't matter if somebody else doesn't agree to it or a parent doesn't agree to it, a friend doesn't agree to it. If it's going to make you happy at the end of the day, that's what you need to go do, because we don't get a second chance to do what we want to do. So I just want everybody just to live, to the fullest and do what makes you happy. And that's it.
Anything you want to say to your competitors for the Toronto Pro besides you're going to kick their ass?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll see you on stage.
Yeah, I'll see you on stage. All right, sweetie. Well, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. And looking awesome. I want to see lots of video and photos, though, because do you have a video person that follows you around when you're training or no? Not yet?
I don't. And that's one thing that I really wanted to start, getting into. Jeff's been amazing. We've been trying to get, different angles.
Sure.
We're not Nico. We need Nico here.
Yeah.
But we need to get more of that out there, or just hire someone to just come follow me around for a little bit. I do want to do like a day in the life, so people know, what we do as well. But yeah, I'm hoping to put a lot more out there going into the prep now that we've got everything finalized. Good coach, good routine, and we're ready.
I mean, Theresa, you are one of the most popular female bodybuilders on social media. So I can say, I mean, people may get on my butt for this, but like the Chris Bumstead of
yeah,
of, you know what I mean. So you just have that presence. Everybody knows your name, everybody. And so it would be cool, honestly. I'm just saying, that's why I asked you about the video person. If you had somebody just following you wherever you're going, I know some people don't like that, but with you, because of your presence, you're right. People want to see what's Theresa doing today, or we want to know. But anyway, love, thank you so much. It's truly an honor and a pleasure, and I can't wait to see you at the Toronto Pro kicking ass.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, honey. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.